felt like I was on here trying to get like my setup together, and I figured that I should just record instead of trying to like get everything perfect. You guys have to excuse my voice. I literally been having like a weird allergic reaction. I have a sulfite sensitivity and I had some white wine last night. And so now my throat is like swollen. So my voice may sound a little different, but I still wanted to record this video and get this message out here. So, but I figured like instead of me trying to like get everything all set up just right, I'm just gonna record and talk. So about a week or two ago, I recorded a video and pretty much talking about comparison and comparing your journey to other people's journeys and how it's like really important to not get caught up in comparing like the start of your journey and the start of your career or your path or whatever you're working on to someone else's. And so essentially the topic was don't compare your first step to someone's 100th step. And I think that's really important to think about. And it's a quote that came to me randomly. I don't know what I was thinking about at the time because as I've mentioned like many times on my channel before, like my voice, oh my gosh, I sound so different. Wow. As I've mentioned on my channel many times before, I keep like a log of like different ideas and musings and messages and things like that that come to me. So I don't really know what brought about this particular topic, but I wrote it down and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Also, I want to point out my little prints that I put up here. I've been trying to figure out my setup, so this is going to change a lot as you guys see videos. Like I'm pretty much just like moving things around, trying to find the right setup. I haven't had art on my walls in a really long time, probably for most of last year and obviously this year so far, which is crazy because I used to have like all of my art up there, but life was a little crazy. So I took all my art down to like figure out the setup and I never went back to it. So now we're going to get this setup for today. Use some painter's tape to put the art up so I can figure out like how I want to set it up. So as you see, they're already starting to like come up. So just ignore that. We'll figure out the setup. Let me know what you guys think. I also do want to get some frames to like frame some of these once I figure out my layout. But anyway, so comparison. I feel like a lot of times when we see other people's journeys and whether they're in a specific career or maybe even just seeing people online or even just people that you may know in your life, I feel like 9 times out of 10, we don't really see people's first step. And what we're seeing is just like a culmination of all these other steps, right? Like all this other work that they put in. And then they present it to the world or to the public at their 100th step or more or less, whatever. But it's usually not the first step. And I don't know if that's just a state of like society or social media has a lot to do with it as far as people feeling like things have to be perfect or just right before they present it, or feeling like they have to have it all together to show up online or to show up in certain spaces or even to like fake it and act like they have it all together when they don't. And I feel like that's just like an unfortunate side effect of social media and being so connected to other people. And I feel like that's a whole nother topic, but maybe not. Because I feel like when you're just starting out, it's really normal to like look to other examples of people in your field or maybe people who are, doing something that you want to be doing or working, living a lifestyle or whatever that you want to have for yourself. And it's really easy to look at that and be like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna get there. Or like when you're starting out and doing stuff, not really being on that same level. But also in addition to that, I think it's also really important to just like not compare your individual journey to other people's individual journeys and other people's paths because we all have our own things. Like we all have our own path, we all have our own purpose, and we all have our own individual way of doing things. Like we're all at different points. So I feel like one of the reasons that quote came to me is because it's just like a really good reminder to be present, I guess, within yourself and within your own journey. And I guess I'll speak for myself. It's just more of a reminder to just like be where I am, right? Wherever I am in this moment with whatever part of my career and my artistry and things like that. Like, especially with me pivoting and kind of changing from focusing mainly on like digital art and shifting into like more physical mediums and even like sharing my journey online, doing like being more active on social media, even recording like on YouTube. Like these are all like newer things for me. And I feel like sometimes like I can put pressure on myself to like perform really, really well or to achieve like these really high goals and attain these things. And I feel like it's just not healthy to do that because like we have to honor our paths, right? So I feel like if you're entering a new point in your life or a new point in your chapter or starting a new journey, it can be a little overwhelming. And it's something that I'm learning with starting new things and doing things that I've never done before. It can be a little scary and a little intimidating. And I think it's just important to know that that's okay. Like those feelings are okay and they're natural. And I think that's something that I'm learning and that I really shouldn't compare where I am in my journey to where other people are in their journeys because we all had to start somewhere, you know? So I really want to do is just like elaborate on that message and when dealing with comparisons and even just like dreaming up new goals and things that you're trying to attain to just like know that it's okay to like take your time and take it one step at a time. Like we all are really living this life like one step at a time. So to look at where you are, maybe taking your first step, second step, third step, and to see someone else on their 100th step, no, it's not going to look the same. And the steps you take to get there won't be the steps that they took to get to where they are. And so I think it's just maybe important to like put things into perspective in that way and like honor our own individual journeys because we all have different backgrounds, different experiences, different lives, different areas, different expertise. And I think it's really important to honor those unique things about yourself and be grateful for your individual journey because that individual journey is going to be perfect for you. It won't look like anyone else's. And I think that's also really important because I think a lot of times we feel like we have to take like really specific paths to get somewhere based on what we see, right? Whether it's on TV and movies or see where we see it online or just like other people in our life. We have these examples of ways that people achieve certain things or achieve certain goals or reach certain like levels in their lives. And those are just examples. And sometimes those examples are good to see because it kind of shows us like, oh, this thing is possible. This is something I can totally do. Oh, this thing seems really interesting. I didn't know that I wanted to do that. I think that's something I want to do. Like those are helpful in that way. But when we get too far into like comparing and trying to feel like we have to take those specific paths and routes to get to where we want to be, I think that's where things can get kind of shaky. And I guess one of the things I want to say is just to like allow yourself to grow. What is that quote when they say like bloom where you're planted or something like that? I don't even know if that's related, but that's what's coming up for me. But kind of like allowing yourself to grow where you are and nurture those seeds that you are planting or that you have already planted and kind of like as people say, tend your own garden. I think that's really important because what you can produce with that time and that energy and that nurturing and that focus on your own individual paths and own individual journeys can bring about really beautiful things that will be better than anything you could have, seen somebody else create or any other path you could have seen someone else have. And I keep saying this, but it's so true. 9 times out of 10, we do not see people's journeys or paths. We see what they allow us to see. And you don't know like how much work or stress or hard times people had to go through to get to where they are. So just I guess, focus on your journey and taking it one step at a time and making the next step better than the one before. Like just kind of growing as you go, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's like a good way to wrap it up. Very short and sweet. I think that's it, really. First, I didn't know if I was going to record today because of my throat. I'm congested and I'm just like, it's too much going on. But I'm glad that I did. And I'm actually glad that that happened, even though it was like, it's uncomfortable and it was a little annoying, but I feel like it helped me to just show up as I am instead of trying to like make sure I have everything together, like audio, lighting, all these things that you have to think about when you're like recording things. Sometimes you just gotta show up as you are, you know? So I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to say. I guess we can end with the Magik Jem. And if you haven't seen my videos before, I like to end my video with what I call a Magik Jem, which is pretty much a nod to my art shop, art business, Magik Gems. And it's pretty much just like a positive affirmation or mantra, just to kind of spread more of like uplifting, healing, positive messages. And I think that's really important. So the Magik Gem of the day is learn as you grow. I might have said that earlier in the video, but I feel like that's like the theme of this video, learn as you grow. So yeah, I think that's part of the journey, learning along the way as you're growing. And I feel like we're always like constantly changing and evolving. There are lessons along the way. So just enjoy the process and learn as you grow. Like your journey is your own. We all have our own individual journeys and paths. And I think that's what's most important. Just learn as you grow and go along your journey and you'll be okay. If I didn't introduce myself, I tend to forget these things, but I am Kourtney the Artist, as I am known here on YouTube. It's a little bit about me if you want to stick around. If not, it was nice seeing you. Like the video and subscribe and leave a comment down below and let me know if any of this resonated with you or if you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video or if you want to see more videos like this. But for everyone else who wants to hang out with me for a little bit, my name is Kourtney. I'm an artist. I was a digital artist for a long time, since I was a teenager. I'm a graphic designer, web designer. I'm very much in the digital art space, and I've recently been on this journey of kind of in the pivot, in a season of pivoting and changing and transformation, and honor those parts of myself that have like many other interests and things, and not limiting myself to just the digital space. And I feel like I kind of kept myself in that box for a long time, just kind of having like a fear of like moving past that and moving beyond that. And part of the reason why I started this channel and even like a lot of the videos that I've been putting online as of late was pretty much just to like kind of document my journey and honor my own journey and share it of exploring other interests. And even video editing and content creation is another interest of mine. So just exploring that route as well, even though it's still digital. But recently I've started working with clay, creating clay art, clay pieces. And that's been really cool to just kind of like get my hands more into these artistic mediums. And so I think that's one of the reasons why this quote came to me of like, you know, don't compare your first step to someone's 100th step. Because like, yeah, it looks nice. They put in the work to get there, you know, that's why it looks nice. So it's just like taking the time to move at a pace that works for me, you know, move at a pace that works for you. Letting that be that. So I think it can be really easy to want things fast or, you know, achieve things really, really fast. But I think it's important to sometimes just like take things slow. Not everything has to be so fast. I feel like there's so much more comfort in slowness and stillness and ease. And I almost feel like as a society, we've kind of lost sight of that. Feels like a whole nother video in itself. Anyway, that's not even what I was supposed to be talking about. I feel like I can jump from this topic to this topic, that topic, this topic. But essentially, that's what it is. So if you are interested in hearing more about my journey and seeing my journey and watching me explore just different aspects of art and just life in general and talking about ideas, and that was another reason why I kind of like rebranded, because I feel like people mostly knew me as Magik Gems, the business, but it's like, let me introduce you to me, Kourtney the Artist. You know, like I have other things that I want to talk about and express, and And not just with art, just life and topics like this, you know, like I love stuff like that. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and like it. I know a lot of people watch videos and they forget to like it. So if you haven't liked it already, go ahead and leave a little like and just subscribe, you know, so you can come back next time for the next video. So be well, y'all. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day or your evening, and sending you some magical love. Okay, peace, y'all. Bye.